Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dimitrios here again. Today I'm going to be talking to you from my studio, Alpha Studio, which is my photography and media creation studio. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room, which has been bothering me for quite some time. Now, I recently posted a photograph on my Instagram account at alphastudio.uk, right? And it's not the first time I've posted this. In fact, I've posted it 3 times now. I usually do it once a year when spring comes along, which is basically today and yesterday. And what fascinates me is how many times I have to hear this nonsense from people where, oh, this image, you stole the image. Oh, this is not your image. Someone else is using it. And then they just give me screenshots of what they've, where they've seen the image, where else they've seen it, who else has posted it. You've got to ask yourself this question. Have you done your research before you start basically blaming people? I've been guilty of doing this myself. I've been guilty of blaming others for having AI photography when in fact they've been incredible photographers. And I can understand in today's world. I can understand completely. AI, artificial intelligence today with machine learning is so powerful, you can generate almost anything. And also, people easily can steal photographs and modify them. Today, it's very easy to do that. And of course, once you modify a photo slightly, it's a brand new image, and that's the problem. The problem is people think that, what they see, someone else is not real work. Well, let me address the elephant in the room, all right? I'm 51 years old. The first time I held a camera was when I was 9 years old. I've been photographing for 42 years, on and off, okay? And professionally, I've been doing it for 25 years. And it really makes me laugh when someone says, oh yeah, this is not your real work. I can't trust what you're posting. Your images are fake, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, well. As a digital photographer, there's many things that I do to protect my photography, but I can't be 100% perfect when it comes to protecting. But I do have my digital negatives, my raw files that I get from my camera, and that's the best proof possible. I ask those people online who've posted my images, or if they've copied someone else's images, I always challenge them and I say, show us the raw files. Okay, show us the raw files. And more often than not, 99% of the time, they cannot do that, which proves to me straight away that they've stolen the images. So once again, I'll say it again, let me address the elephant in the room. I'm going to show you my digital negatives of this one shot that I took of this butterfly. And this wasn't taken in the UK. It was taken in South Africa in August. Okay, 2023. I can't forget it because I know my photography. I have my digital negative file. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to process that file so that I can process the digital negative and then I can open it up with the correct application. I'll just use Topaz Gigapixel AI to sort of process, or you could use Irident X because, it depends on what you want to use, or just use Adobe for processing, Adobe Photo Raw. Your choice. I just use the Topaz Gigapixel AI because it just does an interesting amount of work for me. It doesn't go too far. It processes exactly what I need. And basically, then I can open it up in any application. Then I'm going to open up the image inside, say, something like Pixelmator Pro, which I use on an Apple system. And I'll export out that image into a TIFF file and JPEG file. So you can kind of see the quality of the image. And you'll see, I will show you the metadata behind the images. And you'll see that it's owned by myself. You'll see the copyright information as well. Okay, so let me take you into this. All right, so what I have here is I've got a Nikon Z image that I created on the 9th of August 2023 at 10:15. As you can see, it says Adobe RAW image. I'm going to open up this file and show you. I'm going to get the information. There we go. And you can see that that information is 88.6 megabytes. It's got the Nikon information. It's got my RGB details in there, and it's an Adobe RAW image file. Okay. Last time it was modified, 9th of August 2023. Now I'm going to process this with Topaz Gigapixel AI. All right. And I will reduce this image a little bit because, well, it's a large image. I'm going to zoom to fit, and you can see there's my image. All right. It's now going through Gigapixel's Topaz's sort of software to sort of analyze the colors, get all the necessary things in place, figure out what's going on. I'm just checking to see if I need to do anything else. I'm not going to even touch the settings. You'll notice that I will change nothing in here. Okay. And I will just process. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to process. I don't need to worry about scale. I don't need to worry about height or width. None of that AR model stuff. I don't need to apply anything. It's going to process the image. It's going to be much smaller than the DNG. Obviously, a DNG is a digital negative file. Now, it's processing. Shouldn't take too long. I mean, it's already on 10%. Well, 18, 19, 20% already. It's going to process, as you can see, 6,314 by 4805 pixel, which is pretty, low in terms of processing because the original is 12,628 by 9610 pixels, right? But that's what happens when you process a digital negative. You will reduce the quality. It always happens. Right, that's fine, but that's why we have a digital negative that we can play around with and a raw file that you can experiment with. All right, so now it's busy processing. It's almost complete. Okay, very good. Voila. Now I'm going to open up this file using Pixelmator Pro. As you can see, there's the raw layer. Okay, so to everybody who said, oh, that's a fake image, there's the raw layer. Okay. And there we go. There's my raw information. There's a Nikon Z. Now, you won't be able to see the lens information because I'm using a Carl Zeiss 135mm f2 Apo lens, which is a sonar lens, and it's a manual lens, manual focus, and it doesn't take the information across over to the Nikon system. But as you can see, I can play around with anything, shadows, the brightness, the black point, the exposure, everything you can possibly think of. I can go down to saturation and experiment with saturation. I can experiment with all sorts of stuff. That's the point. I have the digital negative. This is a raw file. In fact, I can even go and use the machine language enhancing tool and actually export an image that's very different to what the actual image should be. But it's fine. I'm now going to export a TIFF file. As you can see, it's already going straight for JPEGs. I'm going to go for TIFF, and it's going to push out a 100% 140.4 megabyte file. And then I'm going to export out a JPEG file as well at 17.4 megabytes. Voila. And then I'll just close Pixelmator. Right? But before I do that, there we go. There is the EXIF information. And I won't make changes to Pixelmator. And there we go. There's the DNG file. There's the TIFF file. And there's the JPEG file. Voila. I'm just doing a spacebar view on that image. And as you can see, there's my raw file. And my raw file is massive. It's 182.48 megabytes. Let's jump back down to my screen now because, that's the end of that little screen. So, addressing the elephant in the room. Thank you for your concern, anybody online or everybody online, whoever likes to say really annoying, harsh words against my photography. I have no problem with that. I honestly don't. I really don't. Because I completely understand what you're thinking. I understand today's world with artificial intelligence and the ability to be able to steal anything digitally. You see, digital files are very flippant. They're easy to modify. Believe me, I'm a forensics investigator. I work with images all the time. Okay. And I know how easy it is to steal information from someone. It's not that complex, especially when it's a photograph that's exposed online. And today someone can take a photo and, steal it from someone else and then super duper it, make it really, really enhanced. But you can see the pixels. You can see the pixelation. You can see the damaging parts of the image. But not when you have a digital negative. When you have a digital negative, you have the raw file. So, in answering your questions, those of you who decided to say that I'm posting fake images and whatever, thank you for your concern, but as you can see, they're not fake. I put my money where my mouth is, and I walk the plank. I don't just talk about it. So Next time, just be a little bit more conscientious out there and maybe give the benefit of the doubt to people. But if you do find any person who's abusing the system, stealing someone else's images, let the people know that, hey, by the way, I saw your image in that location. Is that perhaps yours? Or did someone steal it from you? Or, ask the questions. Don't just go straight into the negative and then say to somebody, hey, you're fake, you're posting fakes, I can't trust your images, blah, 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 because that's just stupid. I mean, that's just annoying. And by the way, I've been a very big victim of this. I've done it myself. I have doubted some photographers out there, and I assumed that they were AI-driven images, because they were so good. And it was very difficult to see how those angles were taken. And I recently had a bout with an Italian artist, an actual art teacher, and I didn't realize how bad my remarks were because I was completely wrong. So, there's nothing wrong with doubting what you see online today. Absolutely. But, when someone holds the digital negatives and the raw file like I have, seriously, I mean, there's no way to doubt that. Anyway, I just want to address the elephant in the room and let everybody know that this is what happens in the industry. This is what you see all the time. And you can't always 100% be 100% sure that, yes, that particular image was created by somebody, because somebody can easily steal information from someone else. And unfortunately, as professionals, we know this very well. We see this all the time. Some people, they go and they put a watermark on their photographs, and so machine language, artificial intelligence can remove that, or someone can just crop your image. Really? I mean, at the end of the day, come on, seriously. So there's no easy way to protect stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got the digital negative, that is your protection. That is your raw file. That's kind of like your digital hash, your cryptocurrency, if you want to call it that, because, well, no one has that except you. And if you want to prove your media creation, your photography, put that information online. Show to people you've got the digital raw files so that there's no doubt whatsoever. Simple as that. That's how you solve the situation. And I'm hoping that this particular video kind of points this out to the people who doubted and doubt the work that I produce. Anyway. Thank you for your time. It's Dimitrios here again, today from alphastudio.uk, and I hope to see you again in the near future in one of my next videos. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Cheers.